Hi folks, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to talk about the 3 things I consider to be most important for anyone to take into consideration before they make the move to Spain or anywhere else you're thinking of going to, so that you get yourself off on the right foot, okay? Now, before I get into it, what a difference a few days make. A t-shirt, warm, freezing cold in the last video, although in saying that, you go into the shade, it's still pretty nippy. But yeah, the weather's just suddenly improved again and it's fantastic. Now, before I get into those 3 things, obviously there's tons of things people have to consider. You know, it's such a massive thing to do. I had my dogs to worry about in the car and money and all sorts of stuff to arrange. But if I knew them and know now, I'm going to tell you, I think it would have been a help to me. You know, being here for a while now allows you to look back and think about things that could have been easier for you, or it may have been better. Although it was all exciting, there were a couple of mistakes made just through not knowing or not finding out, first of all, certain things. I think that makes sense. Alright? So I think these are 3 important things that anyone should put to the top of their things I should do before I arrive list. Okay, so we're going to start off with number 1. And these are in no particular order, as usual. And that is, choose the right time to go to make your initial move. So I went at the start of June. And one of the problems with that is all the apartments are full. The people who own the apartments are charging holiday rental prices for June, July, August. So I ended up panicking a bit, because when I got here, the only apartments I had any chance of getting, they were trying to charge me holiday rental prices for the first couple of months, first 3 months, and that was shocking price, you know, like $300 a week or something like that. So if I was to come again, I would come at the start of September. I would plan to come at the start of September, because the opposite applies. All the holiday rentals are drying up, and then they want to get their apartments let for the rest of the year, you know. So I got lucky. I found this place, and I might have just got it at the right time. Maybe it wasn't completely full when I got here. Maybe they couldn't get rid of all the apartments. Initially they were going to charge me 2 months at the higher rent, and I said, oh, I'm going to take a year. So that got me off of that payment. They were happy once I signed a 1-year contract, but I had intended only saying maybe a 3-month contract in case I discovered I would like to be somewhere else, which I'm going to talk about a wee bit later on. So picking the right time of year is important, and when you come in September, you still get beautiful weather, nice hot weather, comfortable weather right into December, you know. So you're not going to lose out. And also, then maybe you love the heat and it doesn't matter, but then there's no chance you're going to be overwhelmed by arriving in the super hot period. And also, coming in June, it was holiday period, and in this location it was all Spanish people on holiday. For me it could have been better, and that would have been to come later. I would never think of coming in now at the minute. January, February, I think by March it's getting a bit warmer, but it has cooled down now, you know. There's not too many days I can wear a t-shirt, and I think if I arrived and it was like that, I'd be very impatient for the good weather. So that's 1. Now, before we go any further, if you enjoy the videos, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to hear your comments. So, subscribe button. Number 2. And number 2 is choosing the right location, choosing the right apartment.
Oh no!
I already said I was going to mention this again, but when I got here, very difficult to get an apartment. I went and looked at one, and I would have took it, and it didn't happen. And I was settling for an apartment that I now know I would have been unhappy in. It didn't have a swimming pool. I was going to jump at that because there were so few, and then luckily this one came up and I got it. But then this apartment's in Guardamar, which wasn't where I had originally looked. I originally looked in Torrevieja, which is a few kilometers from here. And it's funny, I did a video not long after arriving about Torrevieja, and sort of dissed it a wee bit. And now that I've been here longer, I was wrong. That video was a bit, just the areas I went to seemed a bit run down. Now that I've been there a lot, I love it. And the very next video, I'm going to do a review of that whole area, Torrevieja. So although I like being here, it's quiet, it's a nice enough area, well, it's a nice area, there's disadvantages to where I am. Very few English speaking people, very few. I'm also too far for me to walk to the beach. I have to go in the car with the dogs. There's no dog beaches. So all these things that I had considered them originally, and then through panic of coming at the wrong time of the year, I took whatever I got, and I've been very lucky in every single way. The other thing, your apartment, don't sign a big contract if you can avoid it. Or if you come in after the summer, you have a better chance of getting that, a better chance of being able to say to them, I only want to sign for 3 months originally. The actual apartment itself, you need to think, do you want a swimming pool, do you not want a swimming pool? If I had went into that other place, I'd have been so regretted doing it, because the pool here during the good weather, I'm in it every single day, and I always knew that, yet I was going to settle. I was lucky, and I hadn't thought of this before. Funny enough, I do on holiday, but this apartment, this balcony, south facing, I get the sun all day. There's people on the other side, and they never get the sun. And if that happened, I would hit that as well, because this is during the day, this is where I am. I sit out here and listen to music and make videos, and so you'll want to consider that. I'm glad that I'm high up. Some people may move in and not like high up, or else move into the bottom, not like low down. So think about it, you're going to be here for a while. It's going to be your home. Then you have to consider shopping, supermarkets, how close they are, shopping areas, and how close they are, entertainment, nightlife, all of that sort of stuff. Make sure you wrote out a list of the things that you're hoping to achieve, and aim for that, and not just jump in like I did. I've said this so many times already, said in this video, but I was lucky. I like here. I'm not going to stay here forever because it is too quiet, but it's a great place for me for my first year to get settled. And great, although there's no dog beaches, it's a great area for walking the dogs, So just think about it, and I would suggest, as I said, just a list, just write things down that you're hoping to achieve. I found it very difficult I found it impossible. It didn't happen finding an apartment before I got here. I had to get here before it happened, so that's the other thing. And I think that was more to do with the time of year I was coming. So if you're planning on coming September, October, I think you'd find it a lot easier to get an apartment before you arrive. But don't be like Stephen and just come blind. Although not my fault, I didn't know I was coming at a tricky time of the year. Now, number 3 is, to me, has turned out to be super important. I don't know if this is going to be important to everyone else. Certainly there'll be other people like me that will find it important, but when you arrive, when you get somewhere, when you move in, you need to give yourself time to settle in. I had a great first couple of weeks, with the excitement and newfangled-ness and being around places and looking, and I bought a wee scooter and everything else. But then it started to get a bit of a knot in my stomach about whether I'd done the right thing. If I was to compare how I ended up feeling to anything, I imagine, although I wasn't homesick, I imagine it felt like homesick. I was doubting myself, and the vibe, whenever you go on a holiday and you get back and you have that feeling when you think about the holiday, and the vibe I was getting at that time, after a couple of weeks, for maybe 6 weeks after that, was mixed in with a knotted stomach, so a bit of negativity attached to it, and really thought I'd done the wrong thing for a while. But I know that you have to give your time to settle into a completely different environment, different people, different way of life, different pace of life. It's a massive change to how you've lived the rest of your life, and it comes as a bit of a shock to your brain, and it's so easy to start doubting yourself or doubting what you've done. But, and a big but, after a couple of months, I suddenly realised that knot was gone. The vibe had completely changed in my head. The worry and feeling that I had was gone, and this started to feel like home, and this town started to feel like natural for me to be here. So you have to give yourself time, and you'll settle down if you're like me. All the cool people that don't get homesick or anything will be saying, that doesn't happen to me. I wish I had seen this video before I came and someone had said that to me, because when you've done such a massive thing, like I sold my house and everything else, and come here, and you go through a wee period at the start where you're thinking maybe you've made a big massive mistake. Oh, it was awful, it just wasn't a nice feeling. I've always liked the apartment, the nice wee town and all that stuff, but no one to talk to, and it just, hope I haven't done the wrong thing, but it goes away, and I think it will go away for 90% of people, and all of a sudden it's home, and that's brilliant. So there you go. I hope that anyone that may be considering or fancy doing this in the future, hope that maybe help you out. And anyone who isn't thinking of doing it, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribe, thumbs up, comments, be great. But until next time, bye for now.